What if the love you've been searching for has already walked into your life and you didn't even notice? What if the person you've been praying for, the one who feels like the missing piece of your soul, is already standing closer than you think? We spend so much of our lives chasing after love, hoping for signs, waiting for perfect timing. But what if God has already placed the answer before you, quietly, without a grand announcement? That thought alone can stir something deep within, because deep down, every heart longs for a connection that is not random, not fleeting, but destined. There is a reason why this question grips you. Because love is not just an emotion, it is one of the most powerful forces shaping our lives. It gives us courage, it gives us purpose, it gives us a glimpse of heaven itself. And yet, love can also feel confusing, elusive, almost like chasing shadows. You may wonder if you've missed your chance, if you're running out of time, or if the person meant for you even exists. But here's the truth. When God authors a love story, he leaves behind divine fingerprints. He doesn't always reveal them with lightning bolts or thunder, but with quiet signals, signals you might have overlooked before. Imagine for a moment that every person you meet has a reason for being there. Some come to teach you lessons, some come to test your patience, and then there are the rare few who arrive to change the entire direction of your life. They don't just fit into your story, they become the story. That's why it's so important to recognize the signs, to pay attention when heaven whispers instead of waiting for it to shout. Think about how many times in your life you've crossed paths with people by what seemed like coincidence. A chance meeting, a random conversation, a stranger who suddenly felt familiar. What if those moments weren't accidents? What if every so-called coincidence was part of a greater design, leading you closer to the one person who was written into your life before you even knew their name? The idea of soulmates is not about luck, it's about alignment. It's about divine timing, divine order, and divine purpose. Right now, you might be in a season where love feels like a distant dream. Maybe you've faced heartbreak, betrayal, or disappointment that left you questioning if true love even exists. Maybe you've been searching, swiping, hoping, and still finding nothing that feels real. But don't let your past experiences fool you into thinking God has forgotten you. The delay is not denial. Often, the waiting prepares your heart for something greater than you could have imagined. The fact that you are still here, listening, means your story isn't finished. And maybe, just maybe, the most important chapter is about to begin. Here's the promise. By the time you reach the end of this message, you will see love in a different light. You'll understand that God doesn't work according to human timelines. He works in whispers, in nudges, in signals that seem small until you finally connect the dots. And when you do, you realize that every moment of waiting, every broken piece, every lonely night was leading you here to this truth, to this clarity, to this hope. The reward of staying with me until the end is not just information, it's transformation. Because once you begin to notice the divine signals, you'll never see your relationships the same way again. You'll move from doubt to trust, from anxiety to peace, from fear to faith. And that shift could change everything, not only in your love life, but in the way you see yourself, your future, and the God who has been writing your story all along. So take a deep breath and open your heart. Let go of the noise, the doubts, the fear of missing out, and listen closely. Because the signs of your soulmate are not hidden from you, they are hidden for you, hidden in plain sight, waiting for you to notice. And once you do, you'll realize that love has never been about searching harder. It's always been about trusting deeper. Now imagine the peace of finally knowing, not just guessing, not just hoping, but knowing when you've crossed paths with the one God has chosen for you. Imagine the freedom of no longer chasing love, but letting it unfold in its divine time. That's the journey we're about to walk together, the journey of recognizing the quiet, powerful ways heaven speaks when love is near. When God brings your soulmate into your life, one of the first signs you'll notice is not fireworks, not drama, not chaos, but peace. It is an unexplainable calm that enters your spirit when you are near them. You may not even understand why, but something inside you finally exhales. For the first time, you don't feel the need to perform, to pretend, or to fight for attention. Instead, you feel at home. That is the mark of something divine, because love that comes from God will never begin in confusion or turmoil. It begins with peace. This peace is powerful because it speaks to the deepest part of who you are. Our minds are often restless, overthinking every detail, analyzing every word, worrying about the future. But when the right person walks in, all that noise begins to quiet down. You feel safe, seen and understood, even without trying. Psychologists tell us that one of the deepest human needs is safety, the sense that we can be ourselves without fear of rejection. When someone brings you that sense of safety, when their presence alone silences your inner storms, that is not ordinary. That is sacred. Think about the opposite for a moment. How many times have you been around someone who made you feel anxious, unsettled, or constantly questioning yourself? That is not peace. That is your spirit warning you that something is not aligned. Love is not supposed to drain you, keep you on edge, or fill your heart with doubt. Real love, God's kind of love, adds strength to your life. It does not weaken you. It does not make you feel smaller. It makes you feel whole. And when you meet someone who naturally brings that peace into your world, you must pay attention, because that is one of the clearest signals that they are more than just another person passing by. Peace also shows itself in the way conversations flow. Have you ever noticed how with some people, words feel heavy, forced, or empty, but with others you can talk for hours and never feel drained? Time seems to pass differently. Even silence doesn't feel awkward, it feels comfortable, like a quiet understanding. That is not just chemistry, that is alignment. Your soul recognizes what your mind cannot yet explain. And that recognition brings peace because it feels familiar, as though your heart has finally found a place it belongs. There's also a reason why this kind of peace feels so rare. The world often teaches us that love should be dramatic, filled with highs and lows, passion and pain. Many confuse intensity with intimacy, but intensity can fade quickly while peace endures. Passion may burn fast and disappear, but peace builds slowly, creating the foundation for a love that lasts. That's why people who chase only excitement often end up empty. They confuse chaos for connection. But when God sends your soulmate, He doesn't send a storm. He sends a calm. And within that calm, you realize you have finally found something real. On a deeper psychological level, our nervous systems are designed to detect whether we are safe or in danger when we are around others. When you are near your true soulmate, your body itself responds differently. Your heartbeat steadies, your breathing slows, your shoulders relax. You feel lighter, freer, more yourself. These are not coincidences. They are signs that you are with someone who matches your spirit. That alignment is one of God's greatest gifts, because it confirms what your heart has been searching for all along. This peace is not just about emotions, it is also about decisions. When you are with the wrong person, your choices feel heavy, filled with confusion and doubt. But when you are with the right one, even the hardest choices feel lighter because you are not carrying them alone. You sense that you are on the same team, moving in the same direction, and that brings an unshakable confidence to your future. That confidence is born from peace. The reason peace is such a divine signal is because it reflects God's own nature. The Bible describes him as the Prince of Peace, the one who calms storms and stills troubled hearts. So when he sends someone into your life who mirrors that same calm, it is more than just a coincidence, it is a reflection of his hand at work. It is his way of whispering to you, this is safe, this is good, this is for you. If you find yourself near someone and your heart feels lighter, your spirit feels calmer, and your mind feels clearer, do not ignore it. That is not ordinary attraction. That is a glimpse of destiny. It is heaven's way of telling you that this connection is different. You may not be able to explain it, but you don't need to. The truth of it is felt, not forced, and when it's real, peace will always be present. Now imagine what it means to live in that peace every single day. To wake up next to someone who doesn't just love you, but steadies you. To walk through life with someone who doesn't add to your chaos, but becomes your calm. That is what God intends for love to be. Not a storm that destroys, but a shelter that protects. Not a constant battle, but a constant reminder that you are not alone. And if you've ever doubted whether that kind of love is possible, hold on to this truth. God never plants a desire in your heart without providing a way to fulfill it. The longing for peace in love is not a fantasy, it is a promise that He has already designed someone who can bring that into your life in ways you never thought possible. The first divine signal of meeting your soulmate is the peace they bring, but peace is only the beginning. Because when God weaves two lives together, He doesn't just give comfort, He gives purpose. And purpose is the second signal that transforms a simple connection into a divine calling. Peace is the beginning, but peace alone is not the full picture of a soulmate connection. When God brings the right person into your life, they don't only calm your heart, they awaken your purpose. Their presence stirs something deeper inside of you, a desire to rise, to grow, to become the best version of yourself. They do not distract you from your calling, they sharpen it. They don't pull you away from what matters, they push you closer to it. That is how you know you are standing in front of someone who is not just part of your story, but written into your destiny. Every human being carries a sense of purpose, even if it feels hidden beneath layers of fear or doubt. We were not created to simply exist, we were created to live for something greater than ourselves. And while you can pursue your purpose alone, there is a different kind of strength that comes when you are aligned with the right person. Suddenly, the dreams that once felt heavy feel lighter, because someone is standing beside you, not to carry your load for you, but to remind you that you are capable of carrying it. Their encouragement breathes life into your vision. Their belief in you becomes fuel for your spirit. This is why alignment matters. Relationships that lack alignment drain your energy. They confuse your direction. They may feel exciting at first, but soon you realize you are being pulled away from who you were meant to be. That is not love, that is distraction. And distraction is one of the greatest enemies of destiny. But when you meet someone who ignites your purpose instead of dimming it, that is divine. Because true love never weakens your mission, it strengthens it. Think about how your spirit responds when you are around someone who understands your dreams, your struggles, and your vision for life. Their words don't dismiss your goals, they validate them. They don't laugh at your ambitions, they inspire you to reach higher. This kind of connection feels rare because it is rare. It is not built on superficial attraction or temporary excitement. It is built on something eternal, the alignment of two souls moving in the same direction under the same divine call. From a psychological perspective, human beings are designed to thrive in environments where they feel supported and challenged at the same time. Too much challenge without support leads to burnout. Too much support without challenge leads to stagnation. But the right person balances both. They comfort you when you are weary, but they also push you when you settle for less than your potential. That balance awakens growth. That balance awakens purpose. Purpose-driven love also transforms how you see challenges. Instead of obstacles feeling like dead ends, they become stepping stones. You don't just face problems, you face them together. And together, you find solutions you never would have found alone. That's why two people aligned in purpose can accomplish more in a few years than most people accomplish in a lifetime. Because their connection is not built only on emotion, it is built on mission. This alignment also reveals itself in small ways. You may notice that when you talk with them, your conversations naturally drift toward the bigger picture of life. You discuss not just what makes you happy in the moment, but what legacy you want to leave, what impact you want to make, and how your choices can create something lasting. These conversations awaken something inside of you, a spark, a fire, a vision, and you realize that this person doesn't just make your days brighter, they make your future clearer. That is the second divine signal, the undeniable pull toward purpose. When you meet your soulmate, you don't just fall in love with who they are, you fall in love with who you are becoming when you are with them. Their presence awakens your courage. Their faith in you heals your self-doubt. Their vision connects with your vision, creating a partnership that is bigger than either of you could achieve alone. That is not by accident. That is divine design. Now imagine the impact of walking through life with someone who shares your values, your vision, and your hunger for growth. Instead of arguing about direction, you move as one. Instead of competing with each other, you complement each other. Instead of holding each other back, you propel each other forward. That is the kind of love that changes not just your life, but the lives of everyone around you. That is what happens when love and purpose collide. And if you've been wondering why past relationships never worked, this may be the reason. Perhaps they lacked alignment. Perhaps they offered excitement but no growth, comfort but no vision. Perhaps they pulled you further from your calling instead of closer to it. Don't see those endings as failures, see them as protection. Because God will never allow someone who distracts you from your destiny to remain in your life permanently. He removes what doesn't align so He can prepare you for what does. When you finally meet the one who aligns with your purpose, everything begins to make sense. The pain, the waiting, the disappointments, all of it was preparing you to recognize the real thing when it arrived. And when it does, you won't have to question it. You will feel the peace, and you will see the purpose. Both will move together in harmony, guiding you into a future you could never have imagined on your own. But purpose and peace are not the only signals. There is one more that cannot be explained by reason alone. It goes beyond logic, beyond circumstance, beyond explanation. It is the undeniable pull of destiny, the feeling that no matter how far apart you were, life was always leading you back to each other. There is a kind of connection that goes beyond peace, beyond purpose, and touches something deeper, a pull that cannot be explained with logic. It is not about what makes sense on paper. It is not about background, timing, or circumstance. It is the quiet force of destiny, drawing two souls together as if they had been written into the same story long before they ever met. You cannot reason it away. You cannot shake it off. And no matter how many times life takes you in different directions, something invisible always pulls you back. This pull feels different from ordinary attraction. Attraction is often about what the eyes can see, but destiny is about what the heart can feel. With some people, you notice their looks, their charm, or their personality, but it fades with time. With your soulmate, it is not just about what you see, it is about what you sense. You feel a familiarity that you cannot explain, almost as if you've known them forever, even if you just met. That is not an accident. That is the echo of eternity written inside your soul. Psychologists describe something called recognition memory, the brain's ability to sense when something feels familiar, even without prior experience. But what happens with a soulmate goes beyond memory. It is a recognition that happens at the level of the spirit. You feel it before you understand it. You sense it before you can name it. That sense is God's way of telling you, this is not ordinary. Pay attention. The pull of destiny often shows itself in the way you keep crossing paths. Maybe you meet them unexpectedly, or your lives intersect at times you least expect. Even if life separates you, somehow you find your way back. This is not coincidence. This is design, because what is meant for you will always find you, no matter how far it seems to drift. That is the power of divine alignment. It bends circumstances, timing, and even obstacles to bring two people together when the time is right. This pull also has a way of breaking down walls. Many people walk through life guarded, afraid of being hurt, careful not to let anyone too close. But when you meet the one meant for you, those walls begin to fall without you even trying. You find yourself opening up, sharing pieces of your heart you usually hide, revealing dreams and fears you've kept locked away. You don't plan it, but it happens because your soul recognizes theirs as safe. That kind of vulnerability is not weakness, it is trust, and trust is the foundation of love that lasts. There is also a magnetic energy in the way you are drawn to them. Not in a desperate or obsessive way, but in a steady, undeniable way that feels natural. You don't have to force it, chase it, or beg for it. The connection flows, and no matter how much you try to explain it to others, they may not understand, because destiny is not meant to be explained, it is meant to be experienced. The pull of destiny also awakens courage. Suddenly, you find yourself willing to take risks, to step out of your comfort zone, to grow in ways you never thought possible. That is because your soulmate is not just someone you love, they are someone who calls out the best in you. They awaken a version of yourself that you didn't even know existed. They don't complete you, you are already complete, but they complement you in a way that makes you more powerful together than apart. And yet, one of the greatest confirmations of this pull is its persistence. Time cannot erase it. Distance cannot weaken it. Distractions cannot replace it. It doesn't matter how many obstacles stand in the way, something inside of you knows this connection is different. That knowing is not obsession. It is destiny reminding you that some things are too deeply written to ever be undone. If you have felt this before, you know how unshakable it is, and if you haven't, you will know when it comes. Because there will be no need to question, no need to chase, no need to force. The peace will be there, the purpose will be there, and the pull, gentle, strong, undeniable, will keep drawing you closer until it becomes clear that this connection was never about chance. It was always about design. This is why waiting is never wasted. Every delay, every closed door, every seeming setback is part of the preparation. Because when God finally brings two souls together who are meant to walk as one, nothing can stop it. Not time, not fear, not distance. And when it happens, you won't have to wonder if it's real. Your spirit will tell you, your heart will confirm it, and your life will begin to change in ways that prove that love is not something we stumble upon, it is something heaven sends. And perhaps the most beautiful truth of all is this: your soulmate is not just someone to love, they are someone who partners with you in fulfilling the reason you were created. Peace shows you it's safe, purpose shows you it's meaningful, destiny shows you it's eternal, and when all three align, you know without a shadow of a doubt that you have crossed paths with the one God prepared for you all along. Would you like me to now bring all three signals together into a ***, final closing section ***, that ends with a deeply motivational, powerful call to action for the audience? When peace, purpose, and destiny come together, something extraordinary begins to unfold. It is not just about finding someone to share life with, it is about stepping into a divine design that was written long before you could see it. Every prayer, every tear, every season of waiting suddenly makes sense when you realize that God was preparing not only you, but also the person who would walk beside you. The beauty of this alignment is that it doesn't just change your love life, it changes your entire life. Think about the power of peace. It quiets the noise, silences fear, and allows you to breathe freely in the presence of another soul. Add to that the fire of purpose, the fuel that pushes you to rise higher and live beyond yourself. Then comes the pull of destiny, the unshakable force that reminds you that no matter where life takes you, some connections are simply meant to be. Together, these three create a foundation that cannot be shaken. It is not just love, it is covenant. It is not just affection, it is alignment with heaven's plan. Many people chase relationships that only give them one or two of these signals. Some settle for peace without purpose, staying comfortable but never growing. Others chase purpose without peace, driving themselves into constant tension with someone who cannot soothe their soul. Still others feel the pull of destiny, but lack the grounding of peace or the clarity of purpose, leaving them confused and restless. But when all three align, you step into a relationship that is whole, balanced, and enduring. That is why patience matters. That is why timing matters, because anything less than this alignment will never satisfy the longing of your soul. Your heart knows this truth already. Deep down, you are not looking for just someone who makes you laugh, or someone who keeps you company when you're lonely. You are looking for the one who brings peace to your spirit, alignment to your path, and destiny to your story. You are looking for the one who doesn't just fit into your life, but expands it. And that desire is not foolish. It is not unrealistic. It is evidence that your soul remembers what God has prepared for you. The challenge is that the world will try to convince you to settle. It will tell you that what you want is impossible, that your standards are too high, that real love doesn't exist the way you hope it does. But the truth is that real love does exist, it is just rare. Rare things take time, rare things take preparation, rare things are worth waiting for. And when God finally delivers what He promised, you will look back and thank Him that you didn't settle for less. This is why the waiting matters as much as the finding. Every season of loneliness is shaping you into the person who can recognize and honor real love. Every disappointment is teaching you what love is not, so you can be ready for what love truly is. Every closed door is protection, not punishment. And when the right door finally opens, you will see how all the wrong ones prepared you for it. But preparation is not just about waiting, it is about becoming. If you long for a love filled with peace, you must first learn how to cultivate peace within yourself. If you desire a partner who pushes you toward purpose, you must already be walking toward your own. If you want to experience the pull of destiny, you must be willing to trust God's timing, even when it feels slow. Because your soulmate is not someone who fixes your brokenness. They are someone who complements your wholeness. So the question is not only whether you will recognize the signs of your soulmate, but also whether you are becoming the kind of person who can sustain that kind of love. Are you preparing your heart to love without fear? Are you preparing your spirit to stand in alignment with purpose? Are you preparing your faith to trust destiny, even when you cannot yet see the full picture? These are the steps that draw you closer to the promise. And when that alignment finally happens, it will feel undeniable. You will not have to beg for peace, it will flow naturally. You will not have to force purpose, it will unfold effortlessly. You will not have to chase destiny, it will meet you where you are. And in that moment, you will understand that the love God writes into your story is not something you stumble upon by luck. It is something He orchestrates with perfect precision at the perfect time with the perfect person. Hold on to this truth. If God planted the longing for this kind of love in your heart, it is because He already designed its fulfillment. He is not cruel. He does not tease your soul with dreams He will not deliver. If He gave you the vision of a love that is peaceful, purposeful, and destined, then He has already made a way for it to come into being. Your task is not to rush, not to force, but to trust and prepare. And when it comes, it will be worth every second of the wait. Because true love, the kind that is written by God, does not just change how you feel, it changes who you are. It lifts you, it grounds you, it guides you, and it reminds you every day that heaven's timing is always perfect. Peace, purpose, destiny, these are not just signs. They are promises. Promises that your love story is bigger than you imagined, because it was never just your story. It was God's story all along.